Welcome back to Voidheart Studios, and today I am going to be doing my first ever group review. I am reviewing multiple blasters. 7 of them. Why? Because, quite frankly, I don't know. I may be in over my head here. But, in any way, this video might just be entertaining. Today I'm going to be doing a full overview and review of the X-Shot Insanity series as of late 2025. Because I have them all, somehow. All 7 of them. So I'm going to go in and give some general aspects of the series, and then run through the blasters one by one. Then we'll go and do my typical firing demo, and then my final thoughts, as always. So we'll start off with general aspects of the series. What was the focus? The focus of the series was to make combiner blasters. They were based on, they were inspired by PDK Films, one of the older Nerf tubers who always had big, extravagant monstrosities of blasters, and they all had like a bunch of ammo storage and a bunch of other things, and that was the focus of X-Shot Insanity. So the blasters ended up coming with a lot of these. These are the X-Shot Insanity dart holders, or the round ones. They also had rectangle ones. I can't find any of my rectangle ones because I couldn't care less about any of these. And they just attached to the rails like so, and it gave you onboard dart storage. The second thing these blasters came with is these rail-to-rail adapters. You would place them onto the rail of your blaster, and it would allow you to attach another blaster to that rail. Now, is it the most functional edition? No. But the gimmick isn't to be overly functional or make something the new age of practicality. No, it's to look like the ridiculous, stupid PDK Films thumbnails. This is a gimmick series, but it's a gimmick series with a bunch of cool blasters, because most of them are actually unique designs. There's actually only 2 blasters in here that are any sort of retool of an old X-Shot blaster. And the final thing about these blasters is they have Picatinny rail, which means you can attach Picatinny attachments to them. This is the rear sight from the Nexus Pro X. It is a Picatinny attachment, and thus will attach to this. You can also attach any sort of airsoft or firearm attachments that'll go on Picatinny to these blasters. That's really sort of the general aspect of the blasters. Now let's get into the overviews, starting off with the blaster I demonstrated with, the Manic. The Manic was released in 2023 as part of the X-Shot Insanity series, obviously. And it is a rear prime single-shot front-loading pistol. I don't have any darts with me, so I can't really demonstrate in good detail how these blasters fire, so that's what the firing demo is for. It's literally called the firing demonstration. The firing will be demonstrated there. So let's continue to pontificate. Or, not pontificate, talk. This blaster is pretty basic. It's like any other Fire Strike or Blaster Corn or I'm trying to think of a Dart Zone equivalent. I don't think Dart Zone ever made a rear prime single shot pistol. Interesting. But yeah, except it does have a vertically mounted ring, whereas like the Night Finder and the Fire Strike had horizontally mounted rings. So it is rather unique in that regard. And this blaster also has 5 tactical rails, which makes it have the most rail space out of all of these blasters, while being the second smallest. Of course, you have the rail on the top, rail on the left, a rail on the right, a rail on the bottom, and a rail at the base of the grip. Now, granted, you can't really attach anything to this rail and the blaster will still be comfortable to hold, but it's there if you want it. Very much one of the rails of all time. But yeah, to operate this blaster, you pull back on the priming handle, you load a dart into the front hole, and you pull the trigger. Pretty simple. That's the Manic. The next blaster in the series I seriously need to clean my room. The next blaster in the series is the Berserko. The Berserko is an 8-round cylinder-fed side prime blaster, and it's a Springer as well. So yeah, it has 4 rails as well. It has 1 rail on the top, 1 on the left side of the muzzle, 1 on the right side of the muzzle, and 1 at the bottom of the thumb hole. For a thumb hole stock, it's actually not terribly bad. Like, it's not super tight. It's a little tight, but it's not like super tight. Up at the top here, they also have a built-in sight, which you really have to smash your face against the blaster to use the sight properly. So it's not a great sight, but it's there, and it's made for, you know, smaller, more adorable children. Yeah. And other than that, this blaster is also pretty simple. To operate, you pull back the priming handle, and then you load the cylinder, and then you pull the trigger, and it fires a dart. You keep doing that until the cylinder is empty, and then you repeat the process. You can also expedite the process by holding down the trigger and re-pulling the priming handle to induce slam fire. This blaster has slam fire. This blaster is a reshell of the Nerf Elite 2.0 Eagle Point. Serves Hasbro right for stealing the excesses designed for the Flip Fury. That's the thing that happened. Look it up. That's really it for the Berserko. Next up is the Mad Mega Barrel. Oh, wait. Hold on. The next blaster is the Mad Mega Barrel. The Mad Mega Barrel was released in 2023 as part of the X-Shot Insanity series. And it is a burst pump, spring-powered blaster with a... The elephant in the room is the giant cylinder. This cylinder has a capacity of 72. This is one of the highest capacity blasters I have ever seen. Like, I think it is literally the highest capacity non-magazine fed blaster stock. And that's crazy how they made it for this ridiculous series. And of course, it also has 4 rails. 1 across the top, 1 on the left side, 1 on the right side, and 1 down below the thumb hole. The stock is a little short. The stock is actually shorter than the Berserko, which I find strange considering you're really going to want that support when you are slam firing 72 rounds, because I've done it before, and aside from the, you know, lack of stock support, is extremely satisfying. So, yeah, very, very cool. So, of course, to operate it, you load the cylinder, open this door, or drop it in, close the door, prime it back, push forward, and pull the trigger. And then you can, of course, expedite the ammo dumping process by holding the trigger and it's Slamfire. Of course, oddly enough, it's different than a lot of other pump-action blasters, where it will actually fire on the rear stroke. You hear that? It fired on the rear stroke. Whereas most Slamfire springers that have a relatively large capacity or are magazine fed will fire on the forward stroke. So yeah, the Mad Mega Barrel is definitely a strange one there. If the strangeness of it already wasn't apparent because of 72 round donut. Anyways, we go to the final blaster of the 2023 run. The motorized Ragefire. The Ragefire is the first flywheeler X-Shot ever made. And it's glorious, because it is a minigun. Love, love, love the minigun platform. It has a 40-round infinity chain that can be separated at any link, which I like better than what the Boxer's chain does, where it only separates at that one specific linkature. This one can separate toollessly at any link. It just uses plastic snaps, which I'm sure are a lot cheaper than metal pins. Of course, to be able to remove and freely rotate the chain as it's locked right now, you hit this switch, and then you can do that. This blaster can also mount a tripod down here. I cannot find my Ragefire tripod. If I could, I would show you it being mounted, but you pull this pin out and you put the tripod in there, there'll be holes that line up, and then you put the tab back in and turn it. And now you've got a tripod-mounted minigun, which is pretty cool. This blaster also has 4 rails. It has one rail right here, a rail back here, and then of course a rail on the left and a rail on the right. It has no bottom rail, which makes sense considering the bottom is taken up by the chain release switch, the tripod tilt release switch, and of course the chain. So, yeah. Again, this blaster is motorized. It takes 6 AA batteries in this box and will not operate without them. So, yeah. To operate this blaster, you of course load 40 rounds into your chain, put it in, then you push in on this back trigger to rev the blaster, and then you push down to fire. And it is full auto with a moderate fire rate. And that is the Ragefire. Moving on to the Soul 2024 release in the Insanity series, the motorized Clipmania. The Clipmania was released again in 2024, late 2024, like December, as part of the X-Shot Insanity series. I don't know why I keep saying that. And it is a flywheel-powered, semi-automatic, magazine-fed blaster. Of course, it being their second ever flywheeler and their second ever mag-fed blaster. It's a Strife clone. And you know what? I like it for that. I actually do like it for that. I honestly like the aesthetic and the sizing of the Clipmania better than I do the Strife. I know that's a sin because, you know, the Strife is the most perfect blaster in all of Nerf. Har har. But, yeah. It's pretty cool. It has a collapsible stock, which does fit a normal buffer tube. But if you notice, there's some switches here. There's some little push tabs here on the buffer tube. Remove it, and you get an N-Strike stock attachment point. This was their first blaster ever to have an end strike stock attachment point, which means that not only can you put this stock, not only can you put this stock on all your Nerf blasters, most of your Nerf blasters, it doesn't have the extended part to contend with the back cap on most springers, so you cannot put it on most springers, but you can definitely put it on most flywheelers, and it'll fit on most blasters of other brands that have them. I like putting it on my Strife X, this particular stock. But this blaster can also take any of your old Nerf stocks if you don't particularly fancy this one. It actually has a really good length of pull when it's fully extended. I do like that. Keep going, Zuru. And of course, it has 4 rails, one at the top, one on the left, one on the right, and one at the bottom in front of the mag, which is perfect for a foregrip. I think I bumped the mag release. That has never happened to me before. Yeah. Mag retention is really good. I think I just bumped the mag release. You press this back here to pull the mag out. It is the standard X-Shot 15-round full-length curved mag. It's the one that comes with the Long Shot Pro. It hasn't come with any other blasters than the Long Shot Pro and the Clipmania. And the Clipmania actually comes with 3 of them. So this is like a really good Stock Wars starter pack. So if you're in a place where you can only go to Stock Wars, then get a Clipmania. You will get 3 mags, which is more than enough in most cases. Of course, to operate the blaster, you load up your magazine. You throw the magazine right on in there. You pull this trigger down here to rev. And might I add, that revs up really quickly. Like, that is LiPo level of spin-up speed. Like, it's at max right now. It went up to max rev in like half a second. I don't know what they did in this thing to make it do that. But anyways, of course, you hold the rev trigger to rev it up, and you pull the main trigger to fire. It is semi-automatic. It's a Strife clone. Anyways, that is it for the Clipmania. Yes, it comes with the magazines. That's why it's called the Clipmania, because of the magazines, because everybody calls them clips and whatnot. But that is neither here nor there. The second to final blaster is the Micro. The Micro was released in 2025, I think it was released earlier this year, as part of the X-Shot Insanity series. And this is not original to the Insanity series, this is original to the XL series. Not the XL series, the XL. This is just a reskin of the XL Micro 2.0, but it is a very, very compact pistol, and it's good FPS considering it's the size of my hand. Of course, it is a single-shot front-loading blaster. This top barrel right here is the actual barrel. This bottom one down here is dart storage. But, funnily enough, even though it is made for full-length darts, the barrel is so short and the dart post is so short that it can take half darts stock. You don't have to modify this for it to take half darts, which is crazy. I like that. Just poking it in there, the dart post is so short that you just poke a half dart in there and it'll push on the air restrictor. That's crazy. Of course, the priming handle is back here. You just pull that back to prime it, and then you load your dart into the hole there, and you pull this very small trigger to fire. It has 1 rail on the top. Of course, this wasn't a purpose-built Insanity blaster. If it was, they would have probably tried to at least put side rails on it. I want to see that. Hey, mod community, Well, I'm in the mod community. But, hey, modders that are better at this than me, put side rails on the micro. I want to see it. Yeah, it is very, very tiny. And very, very cheap. It's actually the cheapest blaster. I think one of them goes for like $5. The Manic goes for $9. But I got a 2-pack for $10, so it's pretty cheap. And finally, the big 2025 release, the X-Shot Insanity Smoking Barrel. The Smoking Barrel was released again in 2025 and is a spring-powered lever action. It's also a minigun. It's a crusher. If you remember the crusher from my high-capacity blasters comparison, it's a crusher, but they insanitied the crusher and they gave it a V8. I don't know why it just looks like it has like a car motor down here. But this is where it houses the batteries for the barrel unit. Because inside the barrel unit, when you open this lid, is a rubber cap. So it says pure water only. Why would you be putting water in a Nerf blaster? Well, hit the switch and press the button, and then fire it, and you will find out. Look at that. It be steaming. With a red LED that activates when you push the trigger, and a water atomizer that activates when you press this button on top of the grip. This blaster has a smoke effect. And it really smokes too, like, and it'll keep running, I think, for either a couple minutes or until you turn off that switch. So, yeah. This blaster is insanely cool. And yes, it is a crusher reshell. But two things. One, it takes crusher chains. This is literally just crusher chain, but orange. So if you have a crusher already, you can double this thing's capacity from 35 to 70. Putting it just about in line with the Mad Mega Barrel. So you'll have a minigun platform Mad Mega Barrel with a chain that will probably drag on the ground because of how long it is and the fact that it's an infinity chain. There needs to be more ammo boxes for these things. Like, why is the Boxer Pro like one of 2 chain-fed blasters that exist in this world that actually has a ammo box? That's crazy. But, anyways, of course, the chain is also locked, just like on the Ragefire. You press this in, which actually only has a button on the right side, but you press it in and push it forward, and the chain will now spin freely. And it has like the Ragefire chain and the Crusher chain. You can disassemble it at any link, and so you can remove it easily that way. It also has a familiar knob. And it is also a tripod mount. It doesn't come with a tripod, but if you have a Ragefire or the Gatling Pulse, whatever the minigun platform motor soaker is, you can also use that tripod. They're literally the same except for the tripod. Back here on the V8 that this thing has, or I think it's a V-twin. V-twin, like the Dart Zone blaster. No. There is 2 screw ports here that you take out to get the battery door off, and you actually insert 3 AA's for the water atomizer and the LED. And actually, funny enough, this blaster is really well ported for the water, so you don't have to worry about water spillage when you go to put water in the reservoir for the atomizer, because it'll just spill out inside this barrel unit, and the barrel unit has slots, so it'll just, you know, spill out of the barrel unit and onto your floor. But it should only be a few drops or a little splash. But yeah, I think this is really all I have to cover here for overviews of the blasters. Now, let me load up all these high-capacity blasters and take them out to my range. I am out on the range with the Insanity blasters, and I have once again underestimated the sinking power of the sun, so I'm going to see if I can fire all of these before it gets dark. We're going to start with the Manic. Manic is done. Berserko. Berserko complete. I'm gonna do the Mad Mega Barrel last, just because 72. Rage Fire. That'll have to do. Clip Mania. Mag Dump. Manic complete. Or not Manic. Mania. Clip Mania. Micro. Micro complete. Smoky Boy. I cannot aim with this thing. Slam Fire. Oh, this thing is so fun.
Finally, the 72 round fun party, the Mad Mega Barrel. Some of these are very well-worn darts. Oh my god, this is taking too long. You're taking too long. Slam fire. There's a reason why I don't plink with this very often. That is tiring to get through 72 rounds, especially after everything else we fired. Alright. Well, of course, the darts we were using were the blue X-Shot air pocket darts that come with the Insanity blasters, because I like using stock darts. And yeah, that's really it for the firing demo. I hope you enjoyed me fighting for my life against this wily, savage beast. I'm gonna clean up my mess. I'm gonna take all 7 blasters back inside and talk about them.
Alright, we are back inside with these ridiculous blasters. And first off, I am going to go over the chronograph readings. I put all of these blasters through my... I like to show it on the video. Where's my chronograph? It's probably somewhere else because I was testing some new blasters today. Put all the blasters over my chronograph, and with all of them, they pretty much all stayed in about the 80 FPS range. With one outlier being the micro, which averaged about 74. But again, you can't really levy that against the blaster, considering it is the size of my hand and could very easily be much, much weaker. But let's go over the blasters and talk about their prices, as well as some other minor objective stuff, and of course, my opinion. We will start off with the Manic. The Manic comes in at a price of... The Manic comes in at a price of $9.99, I think. It's like $9.88, $10. For the blaster, I think it comes with 2 ammo holders and one of the rail attachment dew honkers. And it's a good blaster. It's solid, it's reliable, it's a single-shot pistol. I have never had a single-shot pistol jam. If you manage to jam a single-shot pistol, seek help. Because your single-shot pistol might just be afraid of you. But it's a single-shot pistol. They're incredibly easy to mod. They're easy to use, again. It has a good air seal, and overall it's just not a bad blaster. And hitting 80 FPS, you know, because it's X-Shot, and even their Fire Strike reshells are hit 20 FPS harder than the actual Fire Strike. So, yeah, it's not much to say. Solid blaster. I think it also comes with like 24 darts, which, again, that's pretty good, because one of these holds 24, and it comes with 2 of them. But, yeah. Next up is the Berserko. Coming in at a price of $15, the Berserko includes also 2 of the side thingies, as well as it comes with 48 darts. The Berserko, again, really good for its price point. I think it's even $5 cheaper than the Eagle Point. And of course, it spawned the trend of Eagle Point reshells throughout X-Shot, and you got this, and then you got the Horror Fire Doomsday, which is pump action, and then you got the Skins Lock Blaster, which is lever action. So, yeah. X-Shot just likes making 8-shot flywheelers now. Or not flywheelers, 8-shot revolvers now. Bruh. But yeah, it's pretty solid. It's good for indoor wars because 8 rounds isn't high capacity. If you're like playing in a house and you've got darts scattered all at your feet anyways. But it's not really what I would call a necessarily overly war-worthy primary, especially when you have the elephants in the room. But overall, not a bad blaster. Oh, it also comes with one of the rail attachment things I forgot to mention. Next up, the Mad Mega Barrel, coming in at $30 and coming with 72 darts, 2 of the round ammo holders, 1 of the rectangle ammo holders, and 1 of these things. It's a pretty solid blaster. It's big. It's only big when it's got that cylinder inside it. Oh wow, I think I broke the door. Almost. Oh, I snapped it off by mistake almost. But yeah, it's only really like big and chunky when it has that cylinder in it. Otherwise, it's actually pretty svelte. And if you take the cylinder apart, it's actually like 6 12-round harmonica clips. So if you don't want to use the giant cylinder and you just want to make a more slim, low-profile loadout, then you can just use it with the, curved harmonica clips, and it'll even yank them out the side when you prime it back. Which, my cylinder is elsewhere, so I'm not going to be bringing it back over here. Again, also pretty reliable. It did have a little inconsistency when it came to range, like all the others did, but I'm mainly pinning that on the fact that I partially did use worn darts, because I've been using air pocket darts in not only my testing, but also my plinking for a good couple of years, ever since I got my Ragefire. But yeah, I think it's pretty solid for its price point of $30. And actually, if you go to Ross, you might be able to find this blaster with white furniture. So, rather than being blue and black, all of these black parts will be white. I don't know why they're, only at Ross, or, why that has happened, but whatever. They look pretty. What can you do? But yeah, $30 isn't bad for what you get. Again, 72 round cylinder, 72 darts, big, beefy, very comfortable aside from the stock, pump action blaster, very solid. Definitely recommend. Next up is the Ragefire. Did anything fall off? Okay, it just disconnected. The Ragefire. Now, coming in at a price point of $50. This is X-Shot's second most expensive blaster, and it's for a reason. It's big, it's flywheel, it's full auto, and it comes with a bunch of stuff. It comes with 2 of these ammo holders, 1 of the rectangular ammo holders, 2 4-way rail adapters, a giant, well not giant, because it's actually pretty short, collapsible tripod, as well as a scope to go on the rail, which I've misplaced most of my accessories for the Ragefire, which sucks, but whatever. At least I have the chain. And yeah, this blaster does have an issue. Let's see if I can actually get any of this. I don't know if the wheel pusher is just not seated low enough, but this blaster does just skip darts sometimes. Now, it's not horrendous. You know, like I showed, I think I skipped maybe 5 or 6 darts out of a 40 round chain. So you're going to be shooting most of your darts anyways. And again, this was their first attempt at a flywheeler. It really doesn't have to be perfect. Like, we really shouldn't be holding them to the same standard that we hold like Dart Zone or Hasbro when it comes to making flywheelers, because, you know, they've done it so many times before. I think this is a pretty solid blaster. Now, $50 is a bit much for, you know, any X-Shot blaster, but again, with how much stuff that it comes with, because I believe it also comes with like 80 darts as well. So you've just got a lot of stuff to work with when it comes to the Ragefire, and I do still recommend it, even with, you know, the smoking barrel being more reliable. Alright. Next is the Clipmania! Look. This blaster comes in at $30, just like the Mad Mega, and it comes with 3 of these 15-round magazines, mag holders that attach to the rails, as well as one of these, and one of the it does also come with one of the rectangular just dart holders. It's a Strife clone. It's an incredibly reliable semi-automatic blaster that has an N-Strike stock attachment point and Picatinny rail. As well as being able to hit 80, 90 FPS. This thing peaked, I think, at like 91 or 92. And that's something you would have to mod a Strife to do. You would have to mod a Strife for some of the features that this thing has stock. So yeah, $30 for a lightly modded Strife, 3 pseudo cross-compatible magazines, and I want to say this comes with like 60 darts? It may be 72, it may be 45, I don't know. But this does come with, you know, quite the heckload of darts, as do the rest. And yeah, very solid blaster, very solid platform, very solid mags, very solid stock. This is a good second flywheeler, and this is a really good Strife clone. And now, of course, we go to the Micro. It's a Micro 2.0. It's a single shot pistol with dart storage. This one, you would mainly want to buy it either for the appeal of... Allergies. Allergies are so bad. You would either buy it for the appeal of just having a pocket pistol, or you buy it to gut it for parts to make one of Domochevsky's various 3D printed reshells of the Micro 2.0. Or not Domochevsky, Genko Megaworks. One of their many, many reshells of the Micro 2.0. And again, this blaster, or not again, this blaster is $10 for a 2-pack. You get 2 of these for $10. On top of, I think, 24 darts, 2 of these, and 2 of these. So you get a lot of stuff. So, yeah. I definitely recommend you get these, even if it's like, if it's just to be your first foray into insanity. Definitely get the Micro 2.0 2-pack. It's on Amazon. Again, $10. $10. The same. It costs the same as a Big Mac meal. Some of us in this country could do with buying a pair of Micro 2.0s instead of a Big Mac. But that is neither here nor there. Alright, and the final blaster, the Smoking Barrel. $30 for just one of the coolest blaster gimmicks ever. Like, the smoking barrel and the red LED, I know it's, you know, it's sort of to be like, you know, fake realistic and all that, but it's just cool, and it tickles me and all the right enjoyments, and I just dig it. I dig this thing. I love this blaster. I almost like it better than my Crusher. If it weren't for this thing just looking ridiculously weird, I would use this over my Crusher. But even then, I would much rather plink with this because of the smoking feature, because it just feels so cool to be slam firing through a 35 or 70 round chain, and then you finally stop spitting out ammo, and then your spinning barrel slowly comes to a stop, and you've got smoke coming out, and it's glowing red. It looks like it's overheating, and it's just so immersive. I love this thing. And it's only been done by like a couple of other blasters. There was like, no, it was literally one other blaster. It was the old Busby Gunsmoke. Which, yeah, this thing is a very rare gimmick in dart blasters. Of course, in airsoft guns and gel ball blasters, you see these things all the time. They have the tracer units, which have the smoke and the light flash and all that, and you put on the end, they look like suppressors, and they have the same water atomizer in them. And that's cool that, you know, Zuru, the R&D for, you know, I'm sure it came out of the R&D for them making their gel blaster line. They saw the smoking thing, and they were like, you know, this would be super dope to have on one of our blasters, but let's put it on a dart blaster. And let's make that dart blaster a really sick-looking minigun. And I like that. I like a lot of this blaster. And again, it's $30. It's pretty cheap. It comes with 72 rounds. It comes with 2 of these. One of the rectangle ones, and then one of these rail attachment doohickeys. And yeah, that's the smoking barrel. I don't really have any other complaints about it. I don't have any complaints really about any of the blasters on this line, other than, you know, the rage fire skipping darts sometimes, and the Clipmania's mags being incompatible with certain blasters, which that's just X-shot mags in general, because they also come with the long shot. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Insanity series. It's a really cool concept that was executed really well, and I think even now, with us being 7 blasters deep into the series, I still think that this series has an insane amount of staying potential. If Zuru will act on it, focus on expansion, but also focus on making good blasters, because that's where Hasbro fell flat. They wanted to expand, they wanted to make all these series, so they wore themselves thin over all these different series and collabs and everything like that, to where they were essentially just churning out slop. But Zuru They have one reshell, one reskin in this 7 blaster line. That's crazy. They're outdoing Nerf. They're outdoing Hasbro. Who knows how many reskins and reshells of the Ward there are in N series, and even in the new Loadout series. And they've also got a bunch of reshells of the Agility in the new Loadout series, which, when I get my hands on the one I want, I'll probably review that one. And so, having so many unique designs is just perfect. Zuru and Dart Zone are like yin and yang. They are doing they are the community's brands. Hasbro is off doing their own thing with their Gel Blaster line and N series and whatever. But Zuru is doing such a good job at making blasters that appeal to kids. And Dart Zone is doing such a good job at making blasters that appeal to the hobby that I'm just waiting for these two companies to just have a joint takeover. Like, the moment that Zuru and Primetime decide to do a collab, an official, like, X-Shot Dart Zone collab, and they collaborate on designs in the future, if they do that, Hasbro's dead. Hasbro, not Hasbro as a whole, but Nerf, the brand name, the IP, is dead. They won't have a leg to stand on if these two companies come together. Because these two companies of Primetime Toys and Zuru, these two blaster brands of Dart Zone and X-Shot, they have their flaws. Dart Zone blasters can be overpriced. They can sometimes be inconsistent. And that's okay. And that, you know, they put in effort to fix those issues when they do arise. Zuru blasters, they oftentimes they do a lot of reskins and a lot of reshells. But when they do reskins and reshells, they try to make them unique. Either with the line they release them in, or the gimmick of the blaster. Because if you look at the Crusher and then you look at the Smoking Barrel, they're unique. They're the same blaster internally, but they're unique because of the smoking function, because of the rails, because of all that stuff. If you look at the Excel Micro 2.0, the Insanity Micro 2.0, and the Skins Menace, the Insanity Micro 2.0, it's in the Insanity series. It comes with all this junk. And all this junk can just make it really cool, and make it really fun, and make it really stupid and funny and adorable, and we love it. And then the Menace has extra dart storage. And it comes in the Skins series, so it's all pretty, all prettied up, and all their collabs. And again, this is completely off topic, but I love what they're doing in the Skins series of keeping their collabs cosmetic only. Hasbro, take notes. You did this way too late. But anyways, I think I have blathered and pontificated enough. Let's end the video. If you did enjoy this video, then please do leave a like and subscribe, and comment what blasters you want to see in the Insanity series. Either a blaster that you haven't seen before, or a new concept that you want them to make for the Insanity series, or a blaster you want them to reskin or reshell with all the bonuses of the Insanity series. Me personally, I want to see an Insanity Turbo Fire or Turbo Advance, because those are my favorite X-Shot blasters. I want to see a Turbo Fire, I want to see a Turbo Advance. Make it happen, Zuru. I know you won't watch this video, but I want to see it. That'd be cool. And I will see you guys all in the next one. If I survive editing this one. Goodbye!